questions, but the first, OGC wants to talk with you. Okay?
The first thing I like to say is that hold up. You got to thank that man and give him a big round of applause, because if somebody wants to bring the real to you, when they want to bring it to you, that means they care about you. So he cares about you because he wants to bring real funk to you. He wants Russia to know real funk. And I saw last night and I saw today that there's a lot of funk here in Russia. You guys really get down. That's why I wanted to come. And when I talked to Vovan, and he says, OG Skeet, we really want you to come. I said, yeah, I'll come. I said, but I want people to have a chance to talk and ask questions and talk to us. A lot of people come in and they do classes, and they stand in front of the class, and they do their whole thing for a long time, and no one gets to ask questions.
Я хотел поблагодарить Вована за ту заботу, которую проявляет отношение к вам. Он очень ценит вашу Вована, и я спросил Вована, что он делает, и он сказал, что хочет дать возможность всем задать вопросы. Поближе вот так. Окей.
And also, part of what made me want to do it too is the people that he was bringing here brings about such a wide variety of knowledge. You have this guy teaches all over the world now. Originally from France, but he doesn't just limit himself to France. He shares his everywhere he goes. You got West Coast, you have East Coast, USA. So it shows that West Coast, East Coast, USA come together. This guy here, he doesn't even need an introduction. What he does on the floor speaks for itself most of the time. And then you got one of the most prominent locking communities in the world, the Japanese locking community with Jin and you here. So you got a chance to ask about locking all over the world. And my main thing is I wanted people to know that there is no one locking, no one. Some people like to party, some people like to battle, and some people like to do shows. The more you learn, the more about locking you learn, the better you locker you are, the more real locker you are.
Влад здесь собрал преподавателей с очень разным опытом, которые приехали сюда на Красную Свет, из США, с Франции, и пилоты вообще проектного себя. И поэтому у вас есть шанс увидеть совершенно разный локинг, и вы увидите, что локинг не универсален, он очень разнообразен. Кто-то любит вечеринки, кто-то любит банды, кто-то любит делать шоу. Чем больше вы учитесь, чем больше вы видите, тем больше вы локеры.
So what do you want to know? What do you want to know? What size hat this is? What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Anything about locking it on, anything about dance, anything about any of these guys' girlfriends you want to know, anything you want to know.
What is the meaning of freestyles?
The meaning of freestyle? Wrist roll. Everything in locking is inspired somewhere. Nobody wakes up and just out of the blue decides they want to run up that wall and fly. It doesn't happen. What you see and what you experience is what comes out. Wrist rolls come from a lot of different areas. The most prominent, the biggest one back in the 1970s and 60s was that on the streets, we used to have people that wanted to play dice games. So they would walk around all day like this. And they would shake the dice in their hand. And they were letting you know, they'd say, what they hit for? What they hit for? That means they want to play dice. So a lot of people were walking around doing this. A lot of people was doing this. So when Don Campbell, Greg, and other people start doing it, it was the same thing that was being done on the streets. Now, is that where wrist rolls come from? I can't say. I can say that everybody was doing that on the streets, and that started being done also on locking. So it could be an inspiration of locking. Creating an inspirations is different.
Каждый элемент блокинга имеет свои корни, и ничто не появляется просто так, а все появляется от того, что мы видим и что мы чувствуем. И в 60-х, 70-х, когда Panal ходил по улицам, он видел, как люди играют в кости, играют в азартные игры, и их руки все время двигались таким образом. И поэтому все, что мы видим, вокруг нас, то и вдохновляет нас на новые моменты, так и появилось.
What they hit for?
Because yesterday during the class, I explained about that bouncing that penguin originated, and Tony after lead to Caboose, that kind of. So Caboose always told me about the Orange County style and stuff, and the pacing with open hands. But at first I would say, oh, I can pull that loose Caboose. No, it's coming all the way from penguin to now. So I think the best thing would be Skeeter to talk about how penguin brings.
Penguin had a unique style of dancing. He had a bounce style. If you watch some of the films of Penguin, he would, even when he did basically, like, you ever seen him bounce? Mm-hmm. That's the way he danced. That was his flavor in the dance. So I see what you're saying. When someone does something that's really unique to them, it's easy for someone to say, well, that's their style, because that's what you saw them do. When I taught today, I told you that I first saw Greg drop his hat and do the switch. It became a style, and we just started to call it the switch. Penguin had a unique style. Slow motion, Penguin did, and that bounce, he did. He always did it. Rest in peace. That was my roommate on the Frank Sinatra tour, was Mr. Penguin. And he was very, very unique. For a big guy, he made people that were big feel that they could dance, because he could dance. Before, only skinny people danced. And then Penguin danced, and wow, that was his style.
Дело в том, что это оригинальный стиль Гудыма, и именно он так называл, это был его уникальный стиль. И то, как он называл медленно, и это очень вдохновляло Скитера. И он считает, что это один из самых выдающихся танцоров своего времени. So he founded this place.
Well, that's the way he danced, so he was the first one that I ever saw do that bounce in it.
Именно он так танцевал.
Погромче.
What's the question?
What's the question?
Hairstyle? Okay.
В общем, они смотрели видео, и действительно мне понравилось, они просто...
Кто приехал к ним? Кого они спустили? Да. Неужели тоже кто
Ребят, подождите, давайте последовательно, все-таки тяжело.
у кого учились уроки?
Кто танцевал на видео? Как развивался?
Нет, да.
Как мне ответили? Наверное, история. Они попали в кассету.
Как?
Они смотрели постепенно.
Спроси,
кто там.
I'm like,
I forget some, but it's coming back. Yeah, I catch it.
Тони Гого приехал в Японию.
Тони Гого приехал в Японию, молодцы.
Ты можешь спросить тогда мне заодно, как они начали заниматься стилем?
Еще раз. Один.
Они оба.
Как они начали?
Да.
И сколько они тренируются?
Это следующий вопрос.
Какой вопрос был? Когда они сами начали? Как они занимаются?
А как они вообще начали? Ну, они именно
Зашли в зал.
Нет, ничего.
we need Tony Gogo here. Yeah. Hey, let me call Tony.
Они увидели вживую выступление рокеров и начали тоже заниматься.
Каких вот?
Токийские рокеры.
А сколько лет они занимаются?
15 лет. Я думаю, не помню, кажется,
They're discussing how long have they been floating.
Кому 30, кому 31.
я тебе потом скажу.
Jimmy Scooby.
Yeah, there was information on Walking Legends, but Jimmy was dead.
Yeah.
And then he appeared.
Let me tell you the story.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the story. We had looked for Jimmy for years, and Jimmy, way back in the day, worked for the Playboy Mansion. And after he left the Playboy Mansion, he just disappeared. So there were rumors that he got in some trouble and that he had died, he had gotten killed. And we had looked for him. If anybody that knows my background, I was an investigator for years. I never could find Jimmy. I traced him all the way to Las Vegas, and someone said that he disappeared from Las Vegas, that he had died out there and that he had gotten killed. So we didn't know where he was, and we thought he was dead. And one day on Locker Legends, I found an email right after Greg Campbell-Lock Jr. passed away, and he said, "This is Jimmy Scooby-Doo Foster. I want to send my regards to Greg Campbell-Lock Jr." He said, I used to room with him. So I knew that it was somebody that knew Greg, but I wasn't sure it was Jimmy yet. So I sent my phone number, I said, "This is Skeeter, Jimmy, call me." And I didn't get any call for a long time. So I thought maybe it was just somebody playing a joke that knew some things that did that. And then one night I got a call, and it said, "Skeeter, it's me, Jimmy." I said, Jimmy Foster, Jimmy Scooby-Doo Foster?" I said, "We were in a group together, right? What group were we in?" He said, "Creative Generation." I knew it was Jimmy. I got in my car and I drove 500 miles to Las Vegas and sat and talked with him and found him. And he was surprised that after all of these years, that it was still dancers out there that love locking like you guys. And I sat and I showed him video and we talked, and he was like, just surprised. He said that he had lived on the streets for a while when he had got in some trouble, and he just disappeared. He just didn't want to be found, but now he's back, and thank God. The only thing I wish is a lot of nights me and Greg sat and we talked about finding Jimmy and what would happen if we could finally find Jimmy. And Jimmy found me about 2 weeks after Greg passed away, so I hate that Greg never didn't get to see Jimmy. Jimmy, me, Greg, Tony, Buddy Gogo, and the two Lawuda sisters danced in the second group that I ever knew locked. This was before the Lockers ever put their group together called Creative Generation. So we go way back to 1972, 73.
Ребята, на будущее, когда вы задаете вопросы на английском, берите микрофон, чтобы я вас хорошо слышал, ладно? Потому что сейчас я не понял, о чем говоришь, если что, вопрос, окей?
Он просто, по сути, я спросила у него, что случилось с Джимми Скуби-Ду, потому что на сайте Looking Glass было написано, что он умер. Была информация, что он был таким сильным танцором, он был Джимми Скуби-Ду.
Вот. И потом, соответственно, он исчез. И все были уверены, что он умер. А потом внезапно на Фейсбуке везде начали всплывать видео, какая-то информация про то, что Джимми Скуби-Ду жив, дает мастер-класс, все хорошо у него. Мне просто было интересно узнать, что с ним случилось. И вот как раз Оджи сказал, что у него были какие-то проблемы, с кем я не совсем поняла, но, в общем, короче говоря, он от этих людей скрывался, потому что его могли убить. Вот, какое-то время жил на улице и от них от всех прятался. Вот, и, в общем, через 2 недели после смерти Грега Джуниора он появился, написал имейл директору и сказал, что он хотел бы выразить там почтение Грегу. Вот, таким образом, там, через какое-то время они связались и теперь общаются. И он очень расстроен тем, что не смогли они раньше его найти, когда Грег был еще жив, потому что они вместе были там, еще лет назад в команде Creative Generation, которая была, по-моему, еще до Lockers. Вот, в общем-то, очень интересный вопрос.
Who inspired you? What inspired you?
Sorry?
Who and what inspired you?
To dance, I mean, like we say, all the people I get inspired by in my dance career, don't know how to say. The two first was my two masters from France, Momo from Vagabond Crew, the leader of Vagabond Crew, it's a b-boy crew, and Junior, my second master. And then after, when I start to learn with Junior, I get into the original locking style, and then I found all the lockers clips and stuff. And then after, I get inspired a lot by the original lockers and all the lockers in that time in the 70s. Jimmy Soul also was and still a big inspiration for me. You know, it's like a brother, and we always push each other, yeah, push each other, you know, yeah. Jimmy Soul, my dance partner. And yeah, we always like give motivation and this, and also get inspired by like tap dancers like Nicolas Brothers, Latin dance, African dance. For 8 years I used to work in a dance company, like professional dance company, with many type of dance. You know, they used to put like ballet, contemporary, I don't know the name, jazz, tap dance, African, clown. It's like a big mix of many style of dance. And I learned a lot with the ballet dancer, African dancer. So yeah, this till today was my main inspirations.
Его карьера заключается в том, что сначала он учился у двух преподавателей. Это Момо из команды Hurrikane, бивой команда, также у Джуна, и у него он видел оригинальную стилотику 80-х, и также был вдохновлен своим партнером Джимми Соул, с которым они вместе очень много работали и танцевали. Также он очень долго работал в танцевальной компании, в которой делал очень много танцевальных стилей. Это афро и балет, джаз, современные танцы и число вдохновения оттуда.
Насколько популярны вообще локинги в других странах, танцуют ли в клубах и вообще просто их знают ли?
It's looking really popular in your countries, and do they dance it in clubs? How popular is it in your countries and all of your countries?
It's really not popular. Locking, you mean?
Okay.
Yeah, in France it's not popular.
Во Франции вообще не популярно.
Nobody dance in the club.
Никто не танцует в клубах.
I mean, in the dance community, in the hip hop the community, locking is maybe the less popular dance. And in the clubs, it's people even don't know locking, so it's like really poor. It's
Логин не самый популярный стиль танца, а в клубах вообще не знают. А логин не знают.
yeah. So I did.
In the USA, locking is part of the African American family culture from my age bracket. So you won't see it so much out in the mainstream young clubs as much anymore. It's gone from locking to popping, pop locking styles of stuff. So it's transitioned over, but most of those people were old lockers. But in the families, in the picnics, in the house parties, there's always some old school locking at every birthday party, every wedding. There's always some old school locking and some old school lockers that get down.
В Америке, в США, логин является частью современной культуры. На улицах вы его увидеть, конечно, нельзя, но на каждой семейной вечеринке, на пикниках, постоянно танцуют такие вещи. Question following, so you're from New York, not from LA, and how's locking in New York, and what is your history of coming into locking?
Locking in New York. The main people that do locking in New York is 3 people. Me. Yeah, me, Firelock, and Frost.
Yeah, Firelock.
That's it. But my history, well, I'll say these 3 because that's us that's always around. But of course, the older people like Adesela, Stretch, Specs, and people like that, they dance locking whenever they're around. But the younger generation, my generation, is just 3 people. And that's it.
Конечно, есть несколько блогеров постарше, они танцуют, когда приезжают, но из моего поколения никто не танцует, кроме
My history of coming into locking is, like I was telling them yesterday, I wanted to do choreography style of dance, and I was seeing crews doing, that stuff. I didn't know what it was yet, and I'm like, oh, what's that? Then I start messing around with it because I'm thinking it's a easy choreography to do, because I thought it was a style of choreography, not like a dance. And so I started messing around with it. It's not until I started going to New York and going to the clubs in New York, and then I started seeing people really, really do locking. I saw Adesela, he's crazy. Stretch, of course. Link, Specs, Fire is really like you know. And Frost is like, I love his style. He's very smooth and like he's very funky, and mixed with Fire is like, yeah. And I was really, really getting inspired, and then I went crazy, and I'm like, oh my god, what is that? And then Fire started showing me clips of people, and then I see P-Lock and Jimmy Soul, them, and then I'm like, whoa, this is what it is. And then he started showing me old clips of the Lockers, and then I'm like, oh. Then I just get crazy, you know? I'm like, wow. And then I really get inspired. And I was dancing it all the time, every day. But what I did was, I didn't want to watch any new school locking. I just wanted to, I decided to watch only the Lockers. And I started watching Soul Train. And that's when I started learning about the other folks that you don't hear about, like him right here and other people. And then I even go to the website and really, really do my research, go to every information that I can, and really, really try to learn, really, really try to get the right information. Even though I wouldn't have anyone around to give it to me, I search for it. I ask questions whenever someone was around. So whenever I see Stretch, I'm like, hey, da, 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 da. And if I see Fire, I'm like, hey. I'm always asking questions. I'm always trying to learn something new. So then I just practice alone all the time. But I go to the club every day, and imagine New York doesn't have much lockers. And Fire and Frost, they're always working. So whenever I get the chance to see them, I dance with them all the time. I know I was very annoying, but that's how you learn, you know, you seek for it. And I ask them a lot of questions, but in New York it's like house clubs, hip hop, and well, some popping. And so funk music was not what I was dancing to when I was locking. House music, hip hop music, popping, you know, other stuff. And then Fire's like, here's some music. And then I started learning about funk, and I'm searching the culture of that time, and then that music, I learned so much about it. Like for me to have the full package of locking, I had to learn about that time, and then on, I had to learn about the different changes of music, why it happened, why it came about, like the movements that was there. So then everything became meaningful and understanding. So whenever I'm doing a move, I know what it means. That's why how I use it. Like, if I'm dancing, I don't point so much. That's because I'm not feeling that there was a point in there somewhere. So I'm not gonna point, you know what I mean? Because it's not just a move to me, it's something. So I had to really feel it. Like he said, locking is conversational. So if I get very conversational, I'm like, hey, you know? And so that's how I came in it. And now I'm just swimming in the pool of locking, enjoying myself, yeah. So yeah.
Good luck.
История такая, что сначала хотел смешного хореографии, он смотрел очень много разных национальных команд и думал, что очень довольно легкая хореография. Потом начал встречать разных людей, увидел блогера Frost, который его сильно вдохновил, Лока, увидел Джимми Соло, и немного сошел с ума по этому поводу, очень вдохновился, начал танцевать каждый день. И в какой-то момент ему стало необходимо How would you estimate the level of locking in Russia, and what do lockers in Russia lack? Maybe they're too shy, or maybe it's not so typical. What do you advise? What do you see?
You know, I was really surprised at how good the level of locking was in Russia. I didn't know. Whoever have taught you have done a really good job on teaching you some of the basic stuff of locking. But for locking to be complete, I think you started on a good path. Like I said, you have to understand where locking comes from. See, locking's not just a dance. It's not just physical. I can't just take someone that wants to know the steps and put the art form in you to make you great. I can't do that. You have to want to seek, like Hurrikane said, but you have to want to seek on different levels. Dance is mental, physical, and spiritual. I can teach you the physical, but if you're missing the spiritual and the mental part of it, then you'll never find funk. Funk just won't come out of you. You can do stuff that looks nice, that people like, and they go, it's like when you hear a song that sounds good, but you don't feel the song. You know it sounds good, but you don't feel it. I think with the path that you're on, learning everything about where locking came from and how it came about gives you the mental background to take it further. Then learning the steps, the basic foundation of the dance. Everybody can't learn that first. Sometimes you got to learn off of videos. P-Lock did a great job of learning off of videos. Gemini tells me the first time that he ever saw it was in a movie, and Hurrikane says he saw it. So people learn how to do the dance off of videos, but they didn't stop there. Once they saw the video, they kept seeking foundation. They kept seeking where it came from. They kept trying to feel their spirit with it. You guys now are getting that. You got foundation. You got foundation from Gemini. Someone told me Greg was here some years ago. That foundation starts the funk of locking. Now you learn moves. Now you learn the foundational moves, how to do the moves. You put all of that together, and then you go out and you party and you battle. You can't learn and get funk from sitting in front of a computer. Energy comes off of human beings. If I was talking to you on a computer now, you couldn't feel it. If I'd have taught my class on a computer, you couldn't feel it. You can only feel it because you could feel my energy and I could feel your energy, and you could feel each other. So you got to go out and get in the ciphers. I don't care if you're nervous. Get in there because you want to dance, because you love to dance. You got to dance with each other because this dance was made from partying. I don't care whether it's your partner. If me and P-Lock is sharing over here some steps, that's dancing together. But guys, I like to dance with the girls too. You know, you'll never meet a good girl if you're scared to dance with her, you're scared to talk to her. So you want to dance together. Putting those things together make you a better locker. It makes you part of the art form, just not part of the style of dance. It makes you part of it. And one last thing. When you start to take up this dance and you take it as an art form, it doesn't end there. You got an obligation because you become part of a family that brings families together now around the world. So when you take up this art form, don't disrespect it, love it, and share with people. Share the dance with people, share it and enjoy it with people because you're dancing for a purpose, the same purpose I danced for in the 60s. When I did taught my class and I talked about show me unity. That's what we dancing for. We dancing for unity. We dancing to get down around the world so that we can all dance together. When you put that purpose with foundation, with love of the dance, funk can't help but jump off you. I don't know, good luck.
Я был очень удивлен, насколько вы хорошо танцуете, и я не очень много вас этого научить, но я хотел, конечно, понимать происхождение роли, понимать, какой он идет, и вы должны искать, осуществлять свой поиск в разных направлениях, в частности, в душевном каком-то поиске. Вы должны чувствовать песню, вы должны знать историю для того, чтобы понимать, что вы делаете. энергия, которая из вас, она идет из вас, вы не можете получить ее из компьютера, или смотря видео, вы должны идти на клад, должны называть друг другом, потому что вообще танец создан для того, чтобы веселиться и смотреть вечеринок. И еще я хотел сказать, что вы должны понимать танец как искусство, а не как обязательство, поэтому вы должны любить и уважать то, что вы делаете, потому что танцуем для того, чтобы быть вместе.
That's right. You guys have had A-Train, Razzle Dazzle. You had Richie Rich here. You've had some good, very, very, very good teachers. So you've had some good foundation. It's the other things. Love the dance. Love to seek the dance. Love to seek the middle of it too. Love to seek the history of it. All of it makes you better.
У вас были прекрасные преподаватели, но тем не менее вам нужно еще и пытаться узнать больше об истории того, чем вы занимаетесь.
Можно вопрос по истории? Think you are third generation of blogging. Who is from your generation?
Давайте передам микрофон, ты скажешь микрофон по-английски, окей?
Hello. Thank you, Skeet. You are first generation of blogging. Respect. Maybe some people who start dance blogging with you and create blogging still dance now and teach. Who is it?
Well, the first person I got to give props to that's been teaching a long time, that's never stopped teaching, is my original go-go brother, Tony Gogo. Tony Gogo and I started when we were 13 years old. Tony's been teaching and sharing in Japan and all over the world since he's been dancing ever since we were 13. So he's the first one I got to give props to that's still doing it. Scooby-Doo, because Scooby comes from a real foundation, he was an originator and a creator himself. When he came back on the scene, it was like getting back on a bicycle. He can dance. He can still dance. So for my generation, he can still get down. Wow, for my generation, that's really.
Fluky.
Oh yeah, Fluky still teaches in LA. Fluky Luke, he still teaches in LA, and he gets down. One of the nicest guys you ever want to see. Makes you couldn't be in here without laughing about every 3 seconds with Fluky Luke in here. It's crazy guy. Yeah, Don is still around. Don doesn't teach as much, but he's still around. He's a world of knowledge, and anytime you got a chance to meet Don Campbell, take the chance to meet him. Shabadoo's still around. He's out there. He does a lot of commercial stuff, but he's a face of the dance that's been around a long time. So you got to mention that he's still out there. As far as there's some other real dancers. I brought like Metabug out. Demita Jo Freeman, one of the first female dancers. She's still around, but she teaches all types of dance. Soul Train, very first Soul Train, she became known as one of the ladies of Soul Train. Awesome dancer. So, it's a few.
Maybe some female bloggers,
Female, Demita Jo Freeman, Metabug Johnson, all great female lockers. Tony Basil's still out there, but you decide what style of locking, what you want to know. Tony Basil is excellent for teaching what show business is about. How to get because everybody's not made to be in show business. Some people want to lock because they just love locking. They're really street dancers, they're really battlers, they're that type of dancer. Tony Basil has been in show business for 40 years, so she's really good at that. And she's the one that's credited with even getting the lockers into the show business end of it. Without her, and back in those days, they never would have made it up into the realm of being on TV in a lockers group. So she's good. She's really, really good for that. But if you ask me, I would say find Demita Jo Freeman. Demita Jo Freeman can teach you Demita Jo Freeman helped give Don Campbell his name. Demita Jo Freeman helped teach Michael Jackson. So she's done it all. She's done it all, and she's one of the very, very, very first female lockers that I've ever seen in my life, and she's awesome.
Здесь сейчас было очень много имен, которые скорее его знали лучше, чем я. А он люди, которые все еще занимаются логикой, мы преподают. И также он говорил о женщине логике, которую я, конечно, тоже знаю, а вы знаете лучше. Он очень хвалил и говорил, что она не занимается
Вопрос заключается в том, что кто из них Hilty, кто из них Bosch, кто из них Hilty, кто из них Gudym, и почему Hilty и Bosch.
Почему Hilty и Bosch? То есть я когда первый раз увидел, что Hilty и Bosch, кто-то, наверное, Hilty, а кто-то Bosch. Сейчас я понимаю, что...
English.
The question is, why are they called something?
Who is Bosch? Bosch? Bosch.
Мне сказали, что вообще значение такового нет, это высоко звучит. Все видели какие-то фигуры Bosch, как блогеров и локеров. Танцуют ли они что-нибудь еще помимо этого?
Все понемногу.
It's about what else they do, except popping and locking.
Они сказали, что нет, ну как
What else do they do except locking and popping?
Они сказали, что
Название команды.
не Bosch, название команды и значение как такового нет, просто звучит круто, поэтому решили называться.
That's about they name.
Это потому что есть такая фирма. Две фирмы. Почему не Sony? То, что есть Sony и Canon.
Я думаю, он... Слушай, а может он переводит? Надо понимать, о чем я говорю.
Пожалуйста.
Короче, я хотела знать по поводу лукрока. То есть это ноги рокинга и руки локинга, правильно? Вот, ну вот начало как бы. Я дальше как бы, если
It's about block rock and
это техника ног рокинга. Да, и локинг, правильно?
it's from blocking and hands are for blocking. Is that correct?
It's just a different flavor, and also to have different legs work with locking. And it's something that I've been inspired by watching the b-boys and also the people, the New York people. When I was going to New York, the attitude, everything I really like, and I tried to bring that, to connect that with locking. So I start to play around, and I've been inspired a lot by the people like Mr. Wiggles, Popmaster Fable, Adesola, the people from New York. And before I knew about the original style, I was already mixing things. I always mix things. So it was just to play and make a different ketchup, mayonnaise, you know, like a different thing. And I think it was interesting also to give a different conception. Some, as far as the attitude also, not just the steps. Because many b-boys contacted me because of that, and they like. Before they don't like locking, and they say, "Oh, but this I like," just because it touched them with the music, the attitude, and the legs work. So it's just to play like PlayStation, you know, just to play with different steps.
Ну, это вообще просто другой стиль. Я смотрел бигбой в Нью-Йорке и просто решил соединить с локингом. Еще даже до того, как я увидел и узнал Adidas, и я вообще начал смешивать разные стили. И здесь просто есть разница в отношении, и это просто такой своеобразный концепт.
history of rocking and top rock. So what I do is mostly top rocking with locking. That's the combination. If you look at the history of rocking, it's very similar to locking. Party dance, salsa, into top rocking to the b-boys. Very similar to locking. If you compare how far the aggressive, it's not aggressive, it's powerful. When you look at Don Campbell's dance, powerful. If you look at the b-boys dance, powerful. Same time, East Coast, West Coast, same music. The Lockers, they went to New York also, I think it was 1975. They had battles with the people who do top rock in New York. And after the battle, they exchanged steps, you know? Because there's many, many connections. I didn't know about that later. I found out about this because Shabadoo told me that they went to New York, and this is where they get some steps from the people who were doing in New York top rocking. And the music is James Brown, breakbeats, it's the same. It's the early 70s. So there is a lot of connections. If you listen to Mr. Wiggles, when he talk about top rock now, he don't say, yeah, aggressive, he say party. You party first, then you get into a battle, or you party. Locking is the same. You party, and you get into an exchange or a battle or something. It's very similar. So it's just the same, very same, you know, maybe Skid can add something on it, but it's very similar as far as the history. Everything comes from the party, and rocking comes from party. If the b-boys now, most of the time, like original from the b-boys, they always tell them, dance with girls, party, don't just go stretch and do circles. They will tell the b-boys you need to dance, you need to party. So it's very, very similar. And the more you go into rocking and locking is a lot of similarities, a lot.
Можно в продолжение этого вопроса уточнить?
Давай сначала ответим.
В общем,
Gemini говорит, что в принципе это же вопрос, да? Не, что пошло от логика к рок, да? И что рок очень близок к настроению, к логику. Вот.
смотрите, вот самое это не вот, у меня такой же вопрос. Это доброк или родинг? Про что он именно говорит? Доброк это еще патия, а родинг вообще родился в термине, они отрицают это драк.
Gemini talked about this an awful lot when it first came out, because the terminology, and I'm glad he explained the terminology of when he used the term rock, because rock and funk were opposites in the 70s. Rock was straight rock and roll, balls out, let it go, and funk was finding the pulse. So if you notice on the Soul Train show, when Tony Basil said that they were a rock dance group, Don Campbell and Greg was a little bit upset in the background over that, because we were not a rock dance group. We were a funk dance group. So the terminology, but what Gemini is talking about is the same rock that's in the song Rock Steady. He's talking about the groove of rocking. And be honest with you, for the first time last night, there was a guy, and I don't know if he's in here, that actually was doing the up rock footwork with the hand motion of locking, and he was doing it so quickly and so smoothly that you really couldn't tell it was so much b-boy, it was that he was dancing with his feet, which I do too. I do shuffles with my feet, so it wasn't that far off. Here's where I know what you're talking about. B-boying came with planned battles. I got beef with you, you got beef with me, we're gonna meet in the subway and we're gonna throw down. Locking didn't come with planned battles. We didn't plan beef with anybody. Somebody had to come and get down in the party and show their skills for us to have to one-up each other. So when you plan a beef with locking. It takes the spontaneity out of it because you got a plan to go get down in a battle. You have to think about who you're going to get down with. So it's a different from the original locking. But that's why I say you have to learn to do it all. That's why at the On the One, we did a Jack and Jill contest, because some people like to compete the way I taught my class, dancing with a couple. And you can compete dancing as a couple. I like this couple that they can lead and follow, and I like this couple better. That's what locking was originally did. But don't forget, in a party, if I was in a party and somebody tried to cut me up, I had to defend myself in the party, and that's much like battling. So it is fusing, it is coming together. It's just you understand what you enjoy the best out of locking. If you like the old school party, then you got to throw some parties. We got to get it back. You got to get some Jack and Jill in there. You got to get some couple dancing like I did. Now that's why I'm glad that Vovan bought where you got a chance to do what we do, and you got a chance to see what hardcore get down battle locking is. So you can see it all. We don't want to hide nothing from any of you. We want to show you all of it. I don't want to say what I do is the best. It's only the best. That's what you do is what I do because that's only locking. I don't want to say that, because you don't have anywhere to go with it after that. I want to say that if you love what I do, then come on, dance with me. If you want to battle somebody, then remember the foundation of locking and where it came from and battle with it. We'll battle with it with respect. There was one thing I saw last night that I didn't particularly like. In the rules of dancing, in the rules of street dancing, I never touch another dancer. Never. So when you knock someone's hat off, or you grab somebody, or that's out the way. You stepped over the boundaries in the streets. So learn the codes. Learn what it's really about.
Давайте сначала то, что вначале, да. Значит, то, что мы начинали, то Рокин, да, он имел слово не то, что другие, а прямо вот это настроение должно быть. И что когда мистер Уилл сейчас, да, тоже другое, когда дает мастер-класс, он говорит, ну, ученикам.
Нет, он задает как раз то, как отдельно Рокин отдельно. Просто это два разных стиля, в этом заключался вопрос, как бы, что мы до этого все думали, что рок это именно рокер. То есть у нас в России как бы рокинг очень сильно развивается. У нас есть такая команда «Династия Рокинс», я думаю, я думаю, что они знают. Короче, у нас в России просто стиль рокинга развивается сильно. И поэтому мы думали, что как бы рок это именно рокинг, и как бы не топ. Вот, поэтому я так и спросила. Вот, я просто все решила уточнить,
So,
что это
Gemini, what rock is originated from rocking or top rocking?
Locking, because I'm a locker first.
Locking?
So locking with a top rocking flavor. And you can do it with a smile. You can smile. It's just variation of steps, but under.
Good work.
Yes. Like also Tony Basil, he sent me a big email one day about lock rock, and I was like, oh, okay. And then she was telling me it's really good because she sees that it gives different patterns. If you look at most of the lockers, they step into a split, step into a move, and they step. They don't use these things anyways, So it's just to give another input. I've seen Etienne Bosch do some steps like this in their choreography. It's very close to what B-boy, it's just the attitude, the flavor. So when you see Pilok do is different, you can see the same thing, it's very similar. And also it's just kidding. It's connected to me. And aggressive or not aggressive, it's a street culture. If you are really understand the street culture, you know it's for fun. It's never serious. When you see even the b-boys, when they battle, they try to get into your mind, but they're not, when they go, it's movie, popcorn. Oh, ooh. And people are like, wow, they're getting crazy. You see, it's fun. And this is why also the level in b-boying push people. And I think sometimes people are confused between be competitive and be push your limit with the, oh, I just want to have fun. Yes, but you want to have fun and enjoy your progress. You know? When I see you girls yesterday in the circle, you push each other. I didn't see nobody go. Everybody like, whoa, whoa, and I was with pilot like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No? All the crew, everybody was pushing each other. And it's just generate more push people, you know? That's it. And you can do it with a smile again, remember. It's not, I never said you have to be angry. Watch Mr. Wiggles, people from New York, when they explain the party dance. Then from this, if I dance with a girl, I will not dance the same if I dance with a guy who plays like me. So I play. Remember, it's very about this. So, yeah.
Давайте перейдем на следующий вопрос. Значит, если вы изначально знаете, да, культуру индустрии, то когда вы видите это, вы понимаете, что это не как не агрессивности, а то, что это как фильм. То есть, представление, грубо говоря, то, что они делают, это несерьезно на самом деле. То есть они никогда, как говорил до этого еще, не будут трогать друг друга, да, и, какие-то, как-то жесты, вот уже прям именно. Да, то есть они больше играют. И об этом нужно всегда помнить. И вот Gemini говорил, что нужно понятие есть соревнования, да, а другие говорят, что я хочу просто повеселиться. Что на самом деле, вот когда он посмотрел, вы же хотите повеселиться, но при этом вы хотите какой-то прогресс расти. И поэтому вам надо быть как бы и соревновательным, сохранять это тоже. Вот.
У меня такой вопрос и сразу просто информационный вопрос. Во-первых, я хотел бы сказать, что здесь присутствует не только Россия, да? Здесь Украина есть, здесь Беларусь. Кто у нас еще есть? Англия. Ну это я просто к чему, что в свое время СССР развалили, да, это была такая угроза для мира, скажем так. Сейчас, благодаря Путину, мы соединяем все постсоветское пространство, за что вы ему спасибо. Не боитесь ли нового себе такого соперника реального, то есть заиметь в лице блогера? Почему спрашиваю? Потому что есть тут пока такое некоторое на соревнованиях, условно говоря, россиянам, или там, надеюсь, белорусам надо развить когда-нибудь, меньше все-таки дают возможности, да, то есть имеется в виду, там, где было достаточно сделать поинт, условно говоря, Гудыму надо сделать дабл поинт, например, чтобы тоже заслужить. То есть есть ли вот эта вот какая-то боязнь воспитать себе реального соперника, и есть ли двойные стандарты судейства по отношению, допустим, к постсоветскому пространству, на их взгляд? Или так, Европа без проблем пускает новые герои?
As you must know, we don't only have Russian representatives here, we also have people from Ukraine, from England, from post-Soviet area. As today's gentleman said, uses are the threat ones, and it was not treated well in Europe and in the USA. And now we're trying to reunite post-Soviet countries in walking and dancing. So, do you have any prejudices, not just you, but the European community and the American community? Do you have any prejudices regarding post-Soviet blockers? So, if you can call them like that. Aren't you afraid to make new foes, new enemies? Do people normally judge them fairly? Russians, Ukrainians, Belarusians?
I think I know what you're saying. I think I understand what you're saying. You know, I think now with battles and stuff, you do have to be careful, because I do see, just like the Olympics, a lot of times you got different styles coming from different countries, and when you get certain judges from certain countries, you have to be careful that those judges aren't worried about getting jobs back in their country and judging only for themselves. And we talk about this, that's why locking needs the foundation, and it needs to sit down, and there needs to be a criteria set for judging. Point system or something. I know we want to be free with things, but otherwise it's just my opinion as to what's good. We have to determine sometimes what is important in what style of locking. So I think it's time that now there's a council or something put together that we can actually judge fairly, so that if there's a dancer from one place, judges are held accountable to judge it evenly according to the same dance. But that's why it has to be the same dance. If it's a battle, then there has to be a criteria for a battle. If it's a party style contest, it has to be a criteria for a party style contest. If it's a show, it has to be a criteria for a show. We're trying to judge it all on the same thing. So we have a party style locker that wants to get into a contest against a hard battle style locker. How do you judge that? The party style locker is just as good as the battle style locker. But if it's in a battle, then it should be a battle. But if it's in a party style contest, then he's the wrong one. The battler is the wrong one. So somebody has to make this determination. Street dance always gets to that point. That's why in ballet, there's councils, there's associations of ballet, because it must have gotten to that point at some point in time. Figure skating is my opinion on what looks good, what doesn't look good. Certain gymnastics, floor gymnastics, same thing. My opinion, that's why it had to be a criteria set. I know we want to be free and it's all freestyle and it's what we like. That's just a dance contest. When you say it's an art form, when you say it's got to the point of being an art form that now people can win money and become heroes around the world, then somebody has to sit down and put a criteria for judging this thing together. So I think that's what he was talking about. I know I was in Taiwan, and I was in a place, and one dancer was from Korea, one dancer was from Taiwan. Good people, but the one and the two in the finals, one was from Taiwan, one was from Korea. One judge was from Taiwan, one was from Korea. Every time it came time to judge, that meant I was going to make the decision. They were not going to get in trouble going back to their country. So we need to have something that the judges, pick good teachers, pick good judges. Don't just, if you pick a judge just because, oh, it's good that you judge. If you pick a judge, then remember, you're in a dance contest. He's just going to he's going to pick what he likes. Don't get mad because he didn't pick the best locker. He's going to pick what he likes. If you want a real contest, pick a judge that knows what they're looking for. And then, as judges, we got to get together and decide how we're going to judge things.
Ну, дело так же, как примерно в идеале, и весь вопрос, он заключается в случае. Как должны быть осторожны, но вообще довольно часто выходит, что судья выражает личные мнения. Мы должны стараться иметь равноценность, судить честно. И в этой связи становится понятно, что должны существовать какие-то определенные критерии. И, например, блогер, который танцует на вечеринке, он не совсем правильно соответствует стилю бара. Поэтому если мы говорим о том, что танец или искусство, то мы должны выбрать соответствующие критерии. И, например, я когда был на Тайване, я видел танцора из Кореи, и судьи постоянно не давали ему свое предпочтение. Я считаю, что мы должны иметь судей, которые знают, что они ищут, и знают критерии, которые они судят.
Ребята, давайте, время заканчивается. Если у кого-то есть вопрос, еще один вопрос максимум, и все, и пора говорить.
Can I add something with this about the battle? It's very important to understand that if you enter a battle, you can win and you can lose. And of course, every battle I entered, my mom was for me, you know? So she cannot see me lose. So that's the thing sometimes. If you come with your friend or you see him already win, and if it happens that he's losing, you're getting mad. But the thing is, you need to understand that I've been judged in locking battles since 2000. Sometimes I lost battle because I was not dressed like a locker. Sometimes because, I don't know, some criteria that I didn't know. Or sometimes because I was facing the person and they say, yeah, but you need to do a show. So why do I have to have somebody here if I have to look at the show? Then have a seat, I do my show and you do your show. So it's very, how, like Skeet say, how do the judge, when you pick up judges or you're entering a battle, you need to know if you respect the judge, then you need to respect their decision. And it's very important to be cool with this. You have to be relaxed, you know. It doesn't mean that because your friend or your partner lose that what he does is bad, but maybe the person in front gets something that the judges prefer. It's very, very, very hard to judge on the spot, not on the watching in the crowd with your friend and say, oh, I think he should win. When you really 3, 2, 1, you have to do this. Big competition is very, very hard for everybody.
And
very hard to judge.
And don't think because you won a battle one night that you need to stop learning, that you're great, that you are now a teacher because you won a battle. Every person that wins a battle is not a teacher yet. But in this, now it's become an industry. People win a battle and they think, hey, now I can teach, now I can judge. It takes you understanding the whole art form of locking and what you're judging to be able to do those things. If you want it to be, we want it, and we all, I think we all do, we want it to be respected in the future as a real art form. Something that you can tell your kids about and be proud of, something that your kids can say that their moms and dads were part of and proud of, something that will be passed on. So it's up to us to set it in history like that, because it's wonderful dancers out here, wonderful art form.
Джейми добавил, что важно понимать, что шансы на проекты равны, и понятно, что если перед твоими глазами кто-то проиграл, им очень сильно не нравится. И я, например, сам проигрывал базы из-за того, что был такая ракета, например. Важно понимать, кто судит, важно правильно выбирать судей, и если вы соревнуетесь, то важно уважать судей и уважать наши решения, если уважать судей. Должно быть готовым к проигрышу и понимать, что зачастую, если ты проигрываешь, ты значит, что что-то делаешь плохо, значит, что судье очень больше понравилось того, что делает другой человек. И добавил, что если вы не выигрываете, не значит, что все плохо, это значит, что прекратить свое обучение и свое решение.
Ну, ребята, что если вы нас были, значит, вы можете преподаватель, значит, вы самый крутой человек. К сожалению, наше время подходит к концу.
Okay.
Просто последние слова.
It's the last words from Skeet.
I've been talking all night. The last words from Hey, it's an honor. It's a real honor to be here. It's a dream. When I was your age and someone would have said you're going to be in Russia teaching locking in front of great Russian students, I would have said, get out of here. But if you dream it and you believe it, it can happen. So don't let anyone take your dreams from you. Love the music, love it, embrace it, get inside the music, understand the music. Understand, ask somebody what the music means and what they're saying. And hey, I'm honored to be here. Say something.
Потому что для него большая честь находиться здесь, и когда он был в вашем возрасте, и он даже не поверил, что вы будете преподавать в России, он считает, что все мечты его могут становиться действительностью, и он призывает вас любить музыку и стараться ее понимать.
Давайте еще раз поаплодируем.
opposed to being honest and let the door be open for you. And a lot of people see, without locking being organized, without somebody saying, this is the foundation, the key was turned here. That's foundation, old style locking. Here's the steps, and I teach a class, here's the steps with old style locking. Here's the steps. You like old style, but if you learn the history, it's old style locking, right? Now, everything after this point is another era, another style somewhere in there. You see? Somebody got to sit down and put that together so that there is a history written. Otherwise, people always fudge it and say there's no history.
And you get to be connected, because if I say, oh, let me present you the Gemini move, sounds bad to me. Because what it is, if you, like Skid said, like if you took the time to understand the foundation, and what I mean by foundation, not just the move, how do these original create those moves? Sometimes it's just by living the life, right? And then after, when you understand, so, oh, they live their life, so I can live my life and add something to it.
Yeah.
That's in a big line. So now the thing is, to me, it's also, if it's connected to the originals, you can add something. And when, like kids say, like, oh, explain how you do the Scooby pace. And I say, it's just an exercise to make you practice a different part of your brain. But like, first I say, let's do some paces. Everybody okay with the pace? Scooby, everybody okay? Let's have some fun for 1 minute and mix it up. And people like it, some people are like, oh, I don't like it. Some people are like, oh, let me try again. Vovan loved that. When I showed him, he would like it.
Let me tell you how it's created the history. The funky chicken. Don Campbell creates the lock.
Yeah.
From the funky chicken. The breakdown. We create the sneak. That's why I teach the funky four corners, because it's in the middle of locking and sometimes stuff fused. But there was an original time period which created an official art form, and there are people that are fusing now.
Yeah.
What it does fuse to, or what it does go to, remains to be seen. It's being written now. But you can't just walk in and say, I'm going to write myself in it. It's a community that has to write you in there.
And also, it's like you have your print, your thing, but to have your print, you need to understand the concept of that. Otherwise, it's just, I'm using the locking name and I do my style.
Yeah.
Some people, they want to do automatically. No, because they directly wants to be, nobody can judge me, nobody can say whatever, because it's my style. But you're using a dance that was created by so many people that you're using this as a name. I'm a locker, but I do my style. And then it starts to become interesting. So what's your style? Yeah, I learned my foundation in 10 minutes. And then now, I have a few pictures with some originals on my Facebook page.
So now I'm a teacher judge.
Yeah, and I'm nice, I'm cool. People love me because I'm from now, I'm a new kid on the block. I say again, a few pictures with originals, like, oh yeah, you see, I show my respect, and then, okay, thank you very much, now do my style. This is not a cultural move and a family move. You don't do that like that, I was doing my thing, and somebody told me, hey, you need to understand what you do, so I put all my stuff. I learned the foundation, not just the move. I went to LA. Before the workshops and the judge, there was no bar at the time. 97, I started to go to meet Penguin, and he was surprised somebody was looking for some locking in 97. Who was doing? And I went. Then he told me, see, I made my research, and after I start, and I'm still looking for more. I start to understand. Now I look in my personal ideas and I see this doesn't fit. This cannot come with it. This doesn't look like right with it. And then you go. Because I don't want to represent me only. I represent a family of people. So when I teach my class, I start with James Brown all the time. I don't put Daft Punk right away. First we do this.
Do the foundation first.
Because it's a form of tribute, or it's like you start saying and then I don't start, okay, welcome to my class. Scooby pace, lock, poop, and no. We start. And on the way, I might have something made by elements. And
different parts of it show how they're connected. When you talk about something that's a trip too, I think today, when I look at locking, there's locking style dancers. There's a locking style, and the locking style has been put in so many different things. The locking style was put in ballet by Gudym.
Sure.
The locking style was put in a beer commercial. That's not funk music. That was to sell beer.
Yeah.
So the locking style was put in a Casey at the Bat mime show. That wasn't real street locking, but locking was put into a show. So locking could be put in anything.
We see in a lot of reality TV shows and street dance crews where they just mix it up and then do choreography, and then there's a little bit of locking gestures.
You could take locking style and put it. Greg used to do the cha-cha show, doing the cha-cha, doing it locking style. You do locking style with the cha-cha.
Yeah.
So all of that is part of the locking style. But when a person uses doing some of the locking style to say that they're proficient in an art form dance, they've crossed a barrier, they've crossed a line. If I use this analogy, if I can do the cha-cha, but I would not dare go enter a Latin dance competition.
Yeah.
And think that I was good enough doing my style.
It's like what you're saying about martial arts. You like pretend to do martial arts, but you're not going to go against the master kata. So like,
you can put in the camera and do nice.
The way it's set up with no governing body, a younger person can do his style, but tell the world that they are proficient in the locking art form. Why can they do that? Because we have contests that says you are the champ.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is win a contest. And if they can't win a contest, they can stage a contest now. Because if they got a couple of friends that got a little bit of money and they got a video camera, they can win a contest or win a battle, put themselves on there, and claim that they are great in the locking art form.
Do you think that's kind of the fault of the dance? Well, actually, probably a harsh word, but the dancer or the event? Because you get some events that have mixed judges, and only one of them maybe are like proficient in locking. The other two know about it, but don't really know about it too much. I mean, because of that mixed style, you get mixed decisions, and sometimes you'll get the wrong decision.
I think it's the lack of what we are trying to do now. It's a lack of true education about the dance and the art form. And then when those people shoot themselves in the foot, when they get a bunch of dancers that are running around with clown faces and Elvis Presley wigs, then they want to throw the dance out of their event because that's not representative of the street. Well, they created that by not showing the genre and the respect to the art form that it needs
But
to be.
the people love it.
It's crowd pleasing.
You take a big cake and you go. They're gonna love it. And you become famous. What is your pedigree? Oh, I won this contest, this contest, this contest. I started 2 years ago. Thank you very much. You're gonna judge. You're gonna do this, and you don't have that knowledge of things. It takes time. Take time. No matter where you're from, I think it's just for everybody the same. Like all these kids took the time to study and listen what's happening nowadays. That's a big thing from somebody who was. It's not like because you're an original that you know what happened till now. So it's very important that you need to understand the full picture. If you judge a ballad, you don't like it. Why do you judge a ballad? You tell people, no, ballading is not good for that dance. It's not the original way. Why are you judging it? It's like me. I love animals. I love to watch cats fight. It's weird. You don't like battles? Don't watch.
And we know it's not the original way. We know that the battling is not the original way of locking, but it has some original origins in the original way of locking. Cutting up and one-upping people was an origin inside of the original way of locking that developed battling. So it is inside of it. But the background of locking, and the young lady earlier that asked the question was exactly correct. The original concept of locking is not the original concept of the people.
Yeah.
That's true. But if you look back in locking, you can find some connection that shows that very easily it went towards that.
And the thing is also, the bowel movement, like Skeeter is not an original thing, but if some people think that this is not good, first they shouldn't judge. And then let's try, take out all the locking bells in the world for 1 year. Let's see how it's going to help the dance or not. Let's see. Stop locking bells in Just the Who. Stop locking bells in UK Champs and all the events. Now people crying like, oh, they take out locking. Yeah, but you also say that you think locking is a party dance and it's not. So you need to respect your words. We all support the bowel movement from day one because we know there is something good in it, and it's just an addiction to the original form. It's just another video game. I always mention video game because to me it's the easiest way to get it. You don't like that type of movie, that type of game, you just don't play it.
Let me ask you a question in that respect. What do you think about people that battle but have no understanding of what the original form of locking came from?
That's the same problem. When we came yesterday to the club, we see already a circle. We didn't come out like this, knee pads and bow down. No, we were on the side like this, we salsa with some girls, because that's the club. Then from this,
know the difference.
There is a difference. I dance with my girlfriend, I don't dance the same if I dance in a bow. I'm not going to do knee drops in front of my girlfriend like, ah!
So where I'm going wrong? Damn.
And the thing is, the card, the love card, can be used in a good way and can be used in a bad way. Let me explain just this. It's about the love, it's about the party. Yes, we know. But when you're watching the b-boys bowling or the popper bowling, they're having fun with it. Because they practice hard, those choreographies, those moves, and they're happy to show them and to be in that moment. And it brings some great energy. So if you don't like it, that's fine. But don't spit on it if you don't like it. Just say, I don't feel that, and that's fine. This is not the most important. Like I always say, every locking styles or idea or concept are from the original. The original is the most important. Because that's the concept. Without this, there's nothing from this. But when you understand that, then you have different people who add styles, flavor, things, and concept, and now some you like, some you don't like, but you need to be complete.
You're absolutely right. And that's why I think teaching kids that there is a difference between original style and party style locking. And there's a different flavor to performances and showcase style locking. And there's a different style because they have it all mixed up. They think that they can claim all of it for whichever one they like the best. And they need to understand that if they're going to a battle, it's a battle. But then I think that a lot of times OGs and some of the pioneers and OGs down the line are some of the cause of it too, because we don't want to sit down and get together enough and put our necks out to make a criteria. We want it to be open, and we don't want to step on any toes by saying, look here, there needs to be a criteria made. And when we leave it open, people can always jump back and forth between the three and confuse everything. Like we said, you get a person from the younger generation that says, well, we don't have to give no respect and wait to put nothing in because there is no criteria set. So whatever I do should be an original step too. Because nobody shut the door and wrote down and said, look, we're locking organizations now that says this is the foundation, this is performance dance, this is the way you go into the battle world and put these things behind it. And locking has gotten to that point now. When you start having battles and stuff with money, this big money that can make people famous and stuff, it's at a point where somebody has to sit down and put the criteria together. And everyone's not going to like it, but if there's enough credibility on whatever council puts it together, if there's enough old school, new school that agree and put it together, then who can dispute it? It has to be.
And most of the time, people who block those things and make people scared about, no, you cannot do that. They're not from the original generation. OG to me sounds for their generation, nobody else. In my perspective, I will never become an OG, he will never become an OG, and there's no OGs besides. What? He will never become OG. To me, that's my point of view. It's not like, hey, you're old, you're OG. No, to me, these people are the people who started out. That's the original.
The original, yeah.
they have to stay there. Nobody can, after 20 years now, I'm with them now, really part of the, to me, if you're not around Don Campbell when he's creating the dance, you're not in Soul Train, you're not in those clubs that you mentioned earlier, you're not an OG. In my perspective, that's me talking, you know?
But I think that if enough people agree that that's going to be the definition for an OG, that it needs to be put down, and that's what the definition that our dance world's going to look at as an OG. If we sit down and says, well, there's another criteria for it, then it would be. But I think that that's what has to happen, because there's a lot of things that need to be defined now. We all teach classes and we're using terminology. You know, I don't want to use terminology and one of my brothers somewhere else uses another terminology, because the young generation is smart enough to run to us and say, well, Skeeter Rabbit said this, and Gemini said this. So now it needs to be something that we say, these are the steps that we teach. Then I teach my stuff afterwards and my style along with the foundation of it. And if there's any questions on history, I tell them, look at this, we go look at this over here if I don't know the answer. And that way there's some unity in the dance world of life. It gets some respect. Because I think the kids now even realize that if I want my style of dancer to win, I want my school of dancer to win, then I get my judges that agree with me on the panel. And the judges on the panel are going to pick my student. And my student now is going to be able to get me more students.
It's called mafia.
So they figured out that, hey, we can just do the same formula that they do. It's true. Just
I think time's up. So efficient.
So, what do you think about it?
The original style. Because you said before you don't like original style. Why?
Xbox, it's original style.
No.
That's the PlayStation, it's original.
I said, let's play.
Tomorrow, guest battle, yes!
Yeah, bring the screen.
Yeah!
More battle.